Hello students, so this is the promised video that's focused on the primary source analysis for the Brookes ship. This is the assignment chapter 2, Slavery in the Americas. The rest of this assignment I'm pretty sure I feel like is self-explanatory and you guys can do it, but I want to go over this. So directions: analyze the primary source below by answering questions 5 through 9 below. We're going to scroll down to the next page to see the primary source. There it is. There's also going to be a link in the description for a HD version of this source, which will help when you guys need to zoom in like that. Because this one, not the best quality, and I meant to include a link to it, so my apologies on that. So, sorry, a link to this high quality one. That's what I meant. And this, again, will be a link in the description on the YouTube video. So you do not need to restate and answer questions 5 through 6. So you don't need to write whole sentences through 5 through 6. You can just write single words. You do not need to restate and answer questions 7 through 9. And that is because you are already given some sentence stems or some sentence frames that you just need to fill in. So you don't have to write whole answers. You just have to fill in the blanks here. Okay? So, because when we're talking about restate and answer, remember we are referring back to our race writing structure, which you do not have to do on these questions. So, question 5. What is the title of the source? Who is the author? And when was it published? So, printed or written. So, the title, I can assume that my title is usually going to be at the top. So, I can probably assume that this is my title. Okay. A short version, we can call it just this part. Stowage, meaning the storage or the underside. I guess underside is not the best word. The storage area of the ship, so the below decks of the British slave ship Brookes. Okay. So that's what I'd write on title. Author. Now this is not the kind of document that typically has an author. This is a diagram to show the slave ship off, essentially. Not really a piece of art that somebody's going to be bragging about. So there's no author, so you can write unknown for the author. Published or written. We zoom back in. You can see that this year right here, because it's talking about something that happened or an act is just a law that's passed. So notice how it says under the regulated slave trade. This means that the legal slave trade at this time, and this is based on the Act of 1788. All right, so that would be, published would be 1788. So next is, who's the intended audience of the source? So I really want you guys to do your best to think about who might want to be seeing this source. So think about the time period you're in. There's people involved in trading and selling slaves. So this document could be used for various reasons. The first, what I want you guys to do here, if you're listening to this video, is I want you to take a guess who you think this might be, and then I'm going to wait about 5 seconds here, and then I'm going to give you some examples. So go ahead and pause the video. Take a guess here. Who do you think the intended audience? So who is this supposed to be for? Who is supposed to read this? Okay. So if you guys weren't too sure if you're getting stuck, don't delete what you wrote for your guess. So this might be something that would be shown off to people who want to rent the ship, right? So you want to rent a slave ship. This one is going to show you how many people this fits. It could also be possibly like a legal document that these people had to register. So if we look up here, it sounds more like it might be having to do with registry, because it said it was allowed to carry 450 slaves, right? So this is probably a registered something that they're trying to register the ship, or either show off the ship or register the ship, right? So people might want to, they say, hey, I want to pay for your ship to transport slaves. What does it look like? How many does it fit? It could be that, or it could also be the government saying, hey, you gotta register your ship. What's it like? Okay. So the rest of them, you're just gonna have to go ahead and explore how many enslaved people are on the Brookes ship. Try to find that. Loose pack or tight pack. So these ones you're just exploring and the document, and that's where the zoom in function comes in handy. So you'll look around and see if you can find the answers for these other ones. These should be very straightforward.